Hey guys, this is RN Productions, aka Nana4673, and I'm back in Reflections on the River, part... Oh god, this must be 6, right? Part 6. There's no sense in getting agitated over all the work to be done. I suppose we could begin tackling one at a time. Shall I help you with preparations? I looked at the list of orders that scrolled down. There was an awful lot to do, but we could split up the tasks and try to get more done. I don't know, bro. I am really bad with choices. I don't know why I do have an entire channel dedicated to visual novels. That is pretty stupid, isn't it? Because I'm really bad at making decisions. Oh well. Now, focus on researching the jewel. Nah, focus on what you're best at, which is being a massive bookworm. I will take that as a compliment. After all, the jewel should be our priority. Understood. Despite our dividing up our focus, I managed to fulfill all the orders relatively easily with some time to spare. I think we should be able to make a quick trip to the market before the first customer comes by for their order. We should hurry though, so no stopping to look at useless stuff on the way. As you wish. The prince kept his word pretty well. He refrained from dilly-dallying too much, which is to say he still did it, but I suppose a little bit was still to be expected. I guess some growth is better than none. These things take time. I wonder if I can threaten to dock his pay, though. I suppose I'd have to work out a proper salary for him first, even though he's already living at my house for free with food provided for him. We soon made it to a familiar vegetable stand. Anil. Shang, fancy ropes, fresh radishes? Hello, Anil. Have you eaten yet? Oh ho, Shang, I think I like fancy ropes better than you. Yeah, sure. I busied myself by digging through Anil's vegetable displays. The quality of his produce was often so superb, but now and then he'd get something decent in. He definitely owed me for blabbing the other time, so I was already scheming a plan to make him give me a discount, otherwise I would have probably just bought vegetables from Bai. While I sorted through the bamboo shoots, the prince made awkward conversation with Anil, who were trying to tell him a tale about a fish he caught the other day. Ah, it was such a fine fish, it could have fed my whole family. Of course, my family live out in the countryside, so I couldn't share it with him. I ate the whole fish myself. Listen, I hate to interrupt your riveting story, but I think I'm about done here. It took you a remarkably long time to make your selection. All those crops look the same to me. They're not, though. The vegetables I've chosen are a lot better than the others. You have to sift through all the Oh. I immediately grabbed the prince's hands and threw a couple of coppers and stood off in full sprint in the direction of home. Hey, this isn't enough for those vegetables. You owe me for last time. Call us even. You crashed through the front door on the house before I could stop to catch your breath. Is a customer due to stop so soon? Did we spend too long in the market? Forget that. It's what I said doesn't matter. Look, it's really nice. Look at the really nice vegetables that just hidden amongst the terrible and average vegetables at our news shop, right? Yes. What better place to hide a jewel than amongst other jewels? Your mother wears a lot of gold and gems on her person on a day-to-day basis. There's no way she'll make a trip to a treasure room every time she has to dress herself. Actually, she doesn't dress herself. At the palace we have people to dress. I don't care. What I'm saying is, wouldn't it be a sneaky way to hide the jewel if she just put it among the rest of her accessories? I suppose that could be a hiding place. She does keep her jewelry box in her living quarters, and there are ghosts posted there every hour of the day. You may be right. Come on, I'll grab some smoke bombs and we can kick down the palace door. Now it was his turn to grab my arm. Hold on. What? Aren't you in a bit of a rush? Have I forgotten something? Quite an astonishing amount, actually. Let's see. The customers due to arrive anytime soon. The fact that I've mentioned that there were guards posted there. How everything turned out so well for you last time. Shall I go on? Isn't that enough? Fine, I get your point. Just got a bit carried away. For the time being, we should deal with the customers, then begin to plan the course of action. I know this is exciting, but we should be careful about this. Yeah, I know. You don't want to take on a job lecturing small children instead of apprenticing here? After we had completed all our tasks for the day, we began brainstorming a plan to receive the jewel from the palace. But what about the guards? If they're there for the whole day, how will we get past them? Excuse me. The guards are replaced every few hours. They are being swept around. There might be a small window of time where there could just be one guard posted. We could set up distractions somehow. A distraction's no problem. How averse are you to setting a bit of the palace on fire? Not suggesting we'll burn the whole thing down, mind you. Just a small, harmless little fire. I was wondering if I could ask Yanni to lend a hand, but she would probably be suspicious. She would not help us unless we told her what we were after, and she would protect the jewel with her life. That is probably best left alone, then. It may be best to avoid your previous method of crashing through the front doors at the palace. I didn't crash. We did literally smash the rails on the floor. Smash, crash. There's little difference. Would you prefer it if we skip? Well, I mean, we could try going in from a different point of entry. Their disused servants' entrance in the east wing. Maybe that would do. We discussed plan after plan until we felt satisfied, or rather until we were too tired and had to go to bed. We resolved to spend tomorrow finalizing the minute details of the plan and to finally infiltrate the palace on the day after that. Hopefully nothing would go wrong. Well, that was simple. You'd think they would have posted a guard or two at least. I would not be too confident. We just have made it past the first step. As we had planned, we entered the palace through the unused servant entrance. There was not a single person in sight. Pretty miraculous for a palace that staffs an extraordinary amount of servants and guards. Right, so where to? I thought you were clear on the plan. Yeah, but I'm not as familiar with the layout of this place as you are. Lead the way. It's kind of fun to watch him squirm like that. I shoved him in front of me, and to his credit, he led the way without grousing or complaining. Unfortunately, it wasn't long until our plan hit its first snag. Oh! Oops. Prince Shun! Ah, good morning, Lan. Are you back from your apprenticeship? Yes, I have returned for a short visit. If you do not mind, I am showing someone around the palace. Marquis Shen from Yu. He fought fast on his feet. Unfortunately, this meant I had to follow his lead. Greetings, pleasant day, is it not? I tried my best to copy his uncomfortable formal way of speaking. I really had no clue how nobles were supposed to act, so I bobbed my head slightly as the greeting. Yes, it is. The maid, Lan, bowed in response. Was I supposed to bow instead of nodding vaguely? Got him out of depth here. I think I'd like to see the garden now, Your Highness. I've heard that the peonies that grow in Natsu are far superior than ours in Yu. Of course, please follow me. It seemed like quite the journey to get to our destination. I wondered how large the palace was exactly. I felt like I had taken a stroll around my neighborhood twice. We have to be quiet here, since we're near my mother's living quarters. I nodded in response as I struggled to get my traps ready for the fastest of moments. The prince might have made a quick word of my wards back at home, but I was hoping that these new and improved prototypes would do the job required of them. The guards should be leaving soon. One will stay behind until the replacement guards arrive. Again, we will have approximately 15 minutes to act, so we cannot afford to make any mistakes. Yeah, I know. We waited until we heard footsteps marching down the hall away from us. The prince snuck a peek at the door, at the door of the queen's living quarters. It's just one guard now. I pulled out several small flasks from inside my robes. The prince had already taken cover, and I moved to an optimal place before taking aim, throwing flask on the ground. Immediately upon impact, smoke poured out and filled the hallway. The prince pulled me into the alcove while we tried our best to stay silent. What's that over there? I held my breath as the guard flew past us to investigate the source of the smoke. Any moment now? But the smoke was a bit hard to see through, but I saw the guard's exclamation of surprise as confirmation that my trap went off successfully. With the net presumably holding him in place, I tossed an additional vial into the guard's direction, careful to keep a hand over my mouth and nose. The prince did the same. The gas would keep him asleep for a precious little amount of time, and the net would keep him out of our way. Hopefully it would be enough. We quickly ran to the queen's living quarters and shut the door. Stepping into the foyer, my eyes immediately landed on jewelry box on top of the table. That's it! I quickly dashed over and opened the lid. Amongst all of the carvings and expensive-looking jewelry, I saw one small jewel that was simple in design and familiar. familiar because I had spent the last few years looking at an etching of my mother's journal. I quickly plucked it out of the box and turned to show the prince. I found it! However, there was something very wrong about it. I knew that I had no innate magical aptitude, but there was still no way I could be wrong about this. It felt odd. Rather, it felt like nothing. I was familiar with my mom's aura, and this jewel had not even a drop of her magical essence. There was nothing special about it at all. I had come this far for a regular mundane jewel. There's something wrong. The jewel. It's just a jewel after all, I thought. Moved to place it back in the box, but the prince grabbed a hold of my hand. Magical or not, I said I would help you retrieve your jewel. Even if it doesn't contain your mother's magical essence, it still belongs to you. He closed my hand around the jewel. But it was magical before, right? You saw it! I was a young child. Perhaps I made a mistake. Could have easily been a trick of the light. A trick of the light, but... Perhaps I just wanted to believe in fairy tales as much as you did. That would have made everything easier, would it not? There's no time. We can talk later. We must leave before we are caught. I nodded, slowly following his lead. This way. I followed mutely. I was still stunned. I could not believe I had spent so many years of my life solely dedicated to retrieving this shiny rock. The most I could do with it was pawn it for coin at our news. Useless. As I was wrapped up in ridding myself and the jewel in my mind, I hadn't noticed that the prince had steered us in a new direction until we stopped at an unfamiliar door. Hey, hold on, this isn't where we came from. I shall only be a moment. Wait here. This wasn't the plan. What if we get caught? He didn't seem to catch my protesting, though, as he ducked into the room and shut the door behind him. What on earth could be so important? I wasn't sure what I was supposed to be doing to occupy my time as he conducted whatever pressing business he had. Luckily, a guard came to help me out with my free time. You there, state your business. Oh no, better think fast. How dare you speak to me in such a manner? Do you not know who I am? Oh, apologies. I am Menquis Shen of Yiyu, and all of you none too gods this rude. I am appalled. I sniffed disdainfully, adding to character as I was trying my best to work. This sort of behavior would not go well down at our palace. I humbly beg your pardon, your lordship. Okay, so it is a male. I never knew if it was a male or female. Visitors are usually not allowed here in the residential wing unaccompanied. If you are lost, I can escort you back to the throne room. That will not be necessary. I will show them the way. Your Highness, of course, I didn't know you were back from your apprenticeship. Oh, thank you ever so much, Your Highness. Hey, on your way, guard. Of course, I shall take my leave of you, Your Highness. It's rather difficult to hire competent help these days, is it not? You can stop now, he has left. Oh, has he? Great. Now, that was so important. What was so important that you risked me nearly getting possibly disemboweled by your parents? Well, I did not think they would be that extreme. I kidnapped their son and broke into their palace. In any case, I think it would be best if we did not loiter any longer. You think? We made it back home without incident. No guards chasing us, no confrontation with the king or queen. It was odd, even anticlimactic. I had gotten my jewel back after all this time, but I felt nothing. I chased this gem for so long, and holding it in my hand did absolutely nothing. My questions lay unanswered, my future still uncertain. I had pulled a fifth book out of the shelf when... What exactly are you searching for? Answers. Answers to what questions? There must be a way to make it... I heaved a heavy sigh. Look, I spent the majority of the past few years searching for this accursed jewel, and now it does absolutely nothing. I owe it to my mother. I refuse to have all my years of effort go to waste. But is that not precisely what you're doing right now this moment? What? I know you've spent all this time tracking down the past, but you found little more than a trick, an illusion of magic neither of us can prove were even there. Oh, thanks for that. You're great at cheering someone up, you know. Should you not be focusing on the real, tangible elements in your life? What do you mean by that? I was not merely humoring you when I said I was interested in your work in medical sciences and herbology. Instead of blindly diving into the past for answers, maybe it's time to look toward the future. You've done so much in an attempt to compensate for your perceived shortcomings in regards to magical power. I have to end the episode here. I will see you in the next one. Bye!